In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 screenwriting techniques that writer Mike White used when writing The White Lotus Season 1 to make it a massive hit. Hi and welcome back to DIY Film with Merle Becker, the channel where I help you make better videos. Alright, today we're talking screenwriting, namely writing for a TV series. And there's no better series to use to illustrate great writing than the 10-time Emmy-winning TV series The White Lotus. The show was created and written by Mike White, and it is a masterpiece of cinematography, acting, sound design, and above all, writing. Each episode is so masterfully crafted and woven together to form a completely binge-worthy show. Also, the characters are complex, magnetic, relatable, and impeccably well-written. So, how can you write like this? The truth is, a lot of what we see in The White Lotus Season 1 scripts is pretty formulaic. That's right, it's the stuff they teach you in film school. Of course, writer Mike White is an absolute master. He uses these techniques flawlessly, and the show's success is obviously more than a formula. But if you learn the formula, you can kick up your writing a notch as well. So, let's dive in. As you might guess, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen The White Lotus Season 1 yet, you should watch it first. Okay. Here are the 5 screenwriting techniques that writer Mike White incorporates in The White Lotus Season 1 that helped to make the series a huge hit with audiences. Number 5, a central question. Mike White includes a central question at the very top of his series. A central question is a scriptwriting device that creates suspense and engages the audience by presenting a mystery or unsolved issue at the very beginning of the film or series. This central question often serves as a driving force for the plot, and its resolution is typically a key element of the story's climax or conclusion. Ultimately, a central question is used to keep the audience interested in the story until the very end, when it's finally answered. So, for example, in The White Lotus Season 1, we open Episode 1 with Shane in the airport looking out the window at a box of human remains being loaded into the airplane.
White Lotus? Our guide told us someone was killed there.
Boom, there's the central question. Who is in the box? The audience is not going to be satisfied until that question is answered. They know somebody died on the island, and now they need to know who and how. Not only that, but we also realize in the first scene that Shane is coming home from his honeymoon without his fiancée. Maybe the fiancé is in the box. And in the last episode of the series, Mike White answers this question in the climactic scene. We finally find out who dies and how. So include a central question in the beginning of your script or series, and don't answer it until the end of your script or series, so that your audience stays put until they get that answer. Number 4, the characters are isolated. In every screenplay, your main character/hero should go through a transformation of some sort. He or she needs to change in some way by the end. This journey is known as the character arc. Maybe they start out at the beginning of the movie being timid and unassuming, and by the end they find their inner strength and they're assertive about their needs. Or they start out closed-minded and they emerge at the end of the film more accepting and compassionate. And one way to facilitate this transformation is to isolate your hero. Isolation forces your hero to deal with his or her challenge without the external forces they would otherwise face on an ordinary day. Also, isolation makes this conflict more apparent to the audience. There's nothing else clouding the character's world. It's just the hero and their problem. In The White Lotus Season 1, Mike White isolates his characters by sticking them in a luxury resort on a Hawaiian island. And by doing this, he allows his characters to grapple with their thoughts and choices alone, without the additional influences of their everyday obligations. So isolate your characters to make their transformative journey easy for them, and easier for your audience to pick up on.
It's like the swankiest hotel room I've ever stayed in.
Yeah, but you haven't traveled that much, so...
Number 3, clear character goals. Here are just some of the reasons your characters need to have clear goals. Character goals drive the plot. Character goals give the audience a reason to invest in the story and follow the characters on their journey. Character goals often lead to conflict, and conflict makes for good drama. Character goals help the character to change. They have a goal, there's an obstacle, they overcome the obstacle, and they change in the process. Character goals help define the story structure, particularly in a 3-act story. Act 1, character goal is presented. Act 2, character pursues the goal and faces an obstacle. And Act 3, character achieves their goal and changes in the process. So you get it. Clear character goals are inherent to a good script. And writer Mike White has made sure to include clear character goals for each character in the White Lotus Season 1. Here are just a few of them.
My mom passed away in June.
Tanya wants to accept her mother's passing by parting with her ashes. Quinn is a socially awkward gamer who's unhappy and wants more from life than Nintendo. Shane's goal is to maintain his sense of control as exhibited by his attempt to secure a room upgrade.
Actually, I think you put us in the wrong room.
Nicole Mossbacher's goal is to maintain her perfect family facade while mixing business with pleasure. Mark Mossbacher's goal is to create meaningful experiences with his family because he, 1, thinks he has testicular cancer,
It's cancer.
and 2, finds out his father wasn't who he thought he was.
Your father had sex with men.
And Mark vows to be more connected and transparent with his son. Belinda's goal is to pursue her dream of opening her own wellness center with the financial help of Tanya. Newlywed Rachel's goal is to maintain her sense of individuality while navigating the early stages of her marriage. And hotel manager Armand's goal is to keep the resort running smoothly
Welcome to the White Lotus.
and not succumb to his substance abuse. So if you're writing a script, make sure your characters have clear goals so you can keep your audience invested from frame 1. Number 2, a time constraint. Setting a story within a limited time frame, such as 1 week, can create a sense of immediacy and tension. It allows for more focused exploration of character dynamics and plot developments within a confined period.
Okay, let's go, guys. Get your clothes on.
It's vacation! It's a breakfast buffet in Hawaii! It shouldn't be a stressful situation!
Potentially intensifying the emotional and dramatic impact. And as you might guess by now, Mike White sets a time constraint. The characters are all at that resort for just 1 week, and they each must solve their problem within that time frame. So help your audience navigate your story and add an element of tension to your script by adding a time constraint. Number 1, bookending. In the White Lotus Season 1, writer Mike White uses a screenwriting technique called bookending. This technique refers to the practice of making the first and the last scenes the same in some way. They can have the same location, situation, or theme. Bookending not only creates a nice sense of symmetry, it also fosters a sense of closure for the audience. And it can also convey a thematic or emotional connection between the beginning and the end of the film or series. So, for example, in the White Lotus Season 1, we start out in the airport. And then, for the entirety of the series, we flash back to what happened the week before at the resort. And at the end of the series, where do we end up again? You guessed it, back at the airport finishing that scene. And when we do, we see the character transformations one by one. By bookending, Mike has not only created a satisfying ending for his series, but he's helped emphasize exactly how far his characters have come since the beginning. He neatly closes the narrative loop not only for every character, but for the series as a whole. So use bookending in your film or series, giving your audience the satisfying ending they want. Okay, that's it. If you are a White Lotus fan as well, leave a comment below letting me know what you love about Mike's writing. And as always, if you found any of this to be helpful, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when the next one is posted. And I will catch you next time.